Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this is one of the most important things about altcoins that's missed, and that's the market psychology of why people that are new, because we've got a lot of new people coming into this market, and this is not talked about much. I want you to see this. This is a blog entry from iTrustCapital. Why do people buy altcoins? One of the most compelling reasons people are drawn to altcoins is their perceived affordability. With Bitcoin often priced in the 5 to 6 figure range, it can feel out of reach for many people. While it's possible to purchase fractional Bitcoin, owning just a small portion doesn't always deliver the same sense of satisfaction as holding an entire coin. Altcoins, however, are typically much more accessible, often costing just a few cents or dollars. The lower price point allows investors to acquire hundreds or even thousands of units, creating a sense of abundance. It's not just about the quantity, it's about the psychology of ownership. Having a substantial amount of altcoins feels tangible and inclusive, making them an attractive entry point for those who might otherwise feel priced out of the cryptocurrency market. Altcoins offer people the chance to get in early on emerging opportunities. For many, this is key, Bitcoin feels like a missed train, one that has already left the station. Stories of early adopters who bought Bitcoin for just a few dollars and turned modest investments into fortunes can make newer investors feel like they've arrived too late. This is where altcoins step in. They're often seen as the next big thing, providing the fresh opportunity to ride potential wave of success. Many altcoins aim to solve real-world problems. Which ones would those be, folks? Do you understand this? And if you think that these guys creating ETFs and Wall Street doesn't understand this concept, this is what happened to me when I first bought Bitcoin back in 2014. You buy Bitcoin, then you're staring at it and you say, wait a minute, a lot of these people have already gotten rich. The real opportunity is in these I can get a lot of. That's how people think. That's going to be a major factor as the regulations get finished. Strap in. Now, if you're going to strap in, you want to have your digital assets safe. That's why I've got a lot of mine on iTrustCapital. They've got institutional grade custody. It's free. You only pay a 1% trading fee, and I mean, I've had mine there since 2018-19, and I don't even think about it. I don't even worry about it. You can go to iTrustCapital. They're my partner. You can go to iTrustCapital.com/XRP Army, and you can use promo code XRP6 to get a $100 funding bonus. You can open an IRA. You can open a premium custody account and send your XRP in there, or you can talk to them about rolling over an old 401k in part or in full into an iTrustCapital IRA. Go to iTrustCapital.com/XRP Army. We've got ourselves a 352 XRP. We've got a $3.93 trillion market cap. This thing's crossing 4 trillion imminently, folks. It's time to get excited. Now, all we've heard about for all these years in the media, the PR media machine, traditional and crypto, Bitcoin, 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 Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Then they added Solana. This is all VC, PR, machine backed, okay? What we haven't heard them talk about a lot is XRP. The XRP army's had to carry that weight. Well, if you listen to what Matt Hogan, who he's one of the good guy Bitcoin maxis. He's a straightforward, honest guy. Met him at XRP Las Vegas. If you listen to what he's saying, what you need to be thinking is, how early is everybody on XRP?
No, it's still so early, Gary. You know, what I do in my day job a lot of the time is I go around to these national accounts, we call them. They're big wirehouse firms like Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo. They're family offices, they're institutions and pensions. And I give speeches and I ask the room, and these people control trillions of dollars of wealth. How many of you have an allocation to Bitcoin in your personal portfolio or in client portfolios? And to this day, it's maybe 10, it's maybe 20% of the room. Until it's 100% of the room, there's still $1 trillion of capital that needs to come into this space. And if $1 trillion in capital comes into this space, it's going to have to push the price substantially higher. So people overestimate, and I think part of it is the media focuses on Bitcoin so much. There is a lot of media coverage, but people overestimate how much the largest investors in the world have allocated. The average institution is still at zero. And until they're at 2, 3, 5%, it's still extraordinarily early. And I think we still have explosive moves to the upside ahead of us. I don't think we're past that at all.
We've got explosive XRP moves to the upside. By the way, before I cover whack job Janet Yellen, I wanted to mention to you in the group today at daixrp.com, the Patreon, we're going to talk about one guy's case for $500 XRP. Now, I'm not thinking about that kind of stuff in the short term, but I will be holding on most of my XRP for the long term because I do believe that we can go to those places. I just don't know how long it'll take. Here is whack job, one of the Choke Point 2.0 members, Janet Yellen. Andrew Ross Sorkin from CNBC still takes her serious.
Ask you two other quick questions. We've talked for many years, Secretary, about crypto. I think you have been a critic or at least a skeptic, and we have watched crypto just explode. Obviously, the Genius Act just passing last week.
You and your friends.
What do you think now?
Well, I have concerns about some of the legislation that was passed. I convened.
Yeah, some of my banking friends who I speak at their conferences, they have some concerns, so I have some concerns.
I believe it was in 2022.
You know, the ones that pay her millions of dollars to come speak at their conferences.
The president's working group on financial markets to make recommendations about the appropriate regulation of stable coins. And I'm pleased to see that Congress did take up that topic and that a framework has been put in place. But unfortunately, I think it contains significant weaknesses. And so it's not all that I would have wanted to see. And that does give me concerns about what the role of stable coins, for example, will be going forward, whether or not there are adequate controls in place. And I believe they present financial stability risks that should be addressed.
Wacko. Okay, I found this yesterday. This is the Western Union is all in on crypto. Now, remember, they tested Ripple's products, and I don't know if they're affiliated anymore, but while he's talking, it sure does sound like a lot of the talk from a certain company that I've been following for the last 7+ years called Ripple.
Stablecoins is just yet one more opportunity to innovate. There are 3 real opportunities for us. Anytime you can move money faster across borders is going to be good for Western Union and good for Western Union's customers. Second, last I checked, you couldn't spend stablecoin if you wanted to buy a Coca-Cola. So converting stablecoin into fiat currencies, particularly in harder to convert currencies around the world, is an opportunity for us. And then for many of our customers around the world, a stablecoin presents a store of value that's tough to achieve in their country. So offering stablecoin as a store of value to our customers is going to be an opportunity. So we see stablecoin really as an opportunity, not as a threat.
What's the rollout looking like for Western Union on that front?
Well, we're already innovating in several places in the world on moving money and settling. So both in South America and in Africa, we are innovating our settlement processes to move money quicker and to more easily convert into local currency in partnerships with some of the infrastructure companies you've had on this show. So we are also exploring other partnerships with people who want on-ramps and off-ramps in different parts of the world on how we could enable Western Union's funds in and funds out to enable people to purchase and sell stablecoins. Finally, we're investigating how we might offer stablecoin products in our digital wallets to our customers around the world, again, in partnerships with many of the companies that you've talked to over the course of the last couple of weeks.
Okie dokie. And here's a confirmation from Smoke about Ripple working with American Express, by the way.
American Express, etc., have been making huge investments and making collaborations to go online and support platforms and really enable merchants to go across continents seamlessly. We've seen recent collaborations such as the fintech Wirecard working with Visa, and of course Ripple, now also on our panel, working with American Express. These are all signs that these giants are going there, and they are going to mostly focus on online payments, and this is the future.
Not a bad confirmation. This is Michael Sonnenson. I'm drawing a blank. He's the president of Securitize now. He's also Bitcoin Maxi, Ethereum. He's in that gang. But what they're talking about, I'm sure they don't mention the XRP ledger, but that's the elephant in the room.
I don't know if you saw this. I'm sure you did, but Rick Edelman recently said that ETFs as we know them today really won't exist in 5 years. And he said they'll be replaced by tokenized versions of themselves. And of course, for people unfamiliar, Rick founded what is now a $300 billion RIA in Edelman Financial Engines. And so for me, I think that's an enormous statement coming from somebody like him who resided in the TradFi world for so long, and he was very prominent. And now he's saying that ETFs as we know them today won't exist in 5 years. What did you think about Rick's comments on tokenized ETFs? I mean, do you agree that's the direction of travel? What do you think about time frame?
It's funny you bring that up because I actually caught up with Rick the other day. I've known Rick a long time, as you might imagine, and we were talking about this very topic. My belief is that the same way that we've seen the ETF wrapper, because of all the great things about the ETF wrapper, have really eaten away at the mutual fund industry, right? Every day, another mutual fund dies, and another ETF is born, right? And we're kind of continuing to see that trend. The ETF space still has some room to go, right? We could definitely still continue to see more ETFs continue to launch over the next 5+ years. But ultimately, something will have to come along and leapfrog the ETF wrapper, the same way the ETF wrapper was a real improvement upon the mutual fund wrapper. And I do think, in fact, some version of a tokenized investment will allow, either because of the precision of the investment, the 24/7 tradability of the investment, the distribution of the investment, the atomic settlement, whatever it may be, the tokenization of the exposures that ETF offer will, in fact, I think, ultimately be the nail in the coffin in the ETF wrapper.
There you go. You see what's coming. Oh, here's Saquon Barkley talking about how he'd rather be paid in Bitcoin. And I told him it's time to level up, get some XRP.
Help me
get paid in XRP.
Grow more confidence in my decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't have to play that whole video. You get the picture. This is a old clip from Chris Larson that Smoke had put out. It's a good video for you to watch to get the big picture. We got a lot of new people here.
Shipping container is super basic. And why it's so profound is before the shipping container, of course, shipping goods was super labor intensive, super inefficient, like moving money is today. You'd send stuff to a port. It had to be unpacked right there at the port, repacked. It was a huge drag on global commerce. And then along comes a shipping container, so the goods stay in that container at the point of manufacturing, sent right to their local port through a truck, a train, then to a ship, back to another ship, another train, another truck, interoperable in any port around the world. And when that was created in the 1950s, 700% increase in global trade, completely transformed ports everywhere, created a Cambrian explosion of new types of shipping companies. It's exactly what you saw with the internet, by the way, and it's exactly what you're going to see with a very low level. Again, that can't be Bitcoin or Ethereum or the XRP ledger. That will be a part of what happens here. But those things are heavy, they're thick, they're shipping companies with certain features that will never be acceptable to everybody in the world. You need something super low level, something like the interledger protocol is what we believe in, which is super basic, it's not a ledger, and just like not a shipping company, but something that the Chinese can get behind, you can get something in the developing world could get behind, Gates Foundation could get behind, which they have, the Americans could get behind. Very basic, very simple. And also, very importantly, if you deploy a shipping container in Los Angeles, the port of Los Angeles, it has no effect on the shipping container being used in Amsterdam. or whatever the port is there. That's not true with databases. One additional entry to the Bitcoin ledger or to HSBC's ledger creates scalability issues to everything else in the system. That's why that can't work to be that network of networks.
Okay, let's go to DAIXRP.com, the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click the join button below any of these videos, or you can subscribe through X for the extended videos with no commercials. Today we're going to go talk about the XRP price and one case for $500 XRP. How about that? I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.